So list the correlation coefficients from least to greatest. So correlation coefficients go from -1 to 1. The closer to 0 that you are, the weaker that you are. The closer to 1 that you are, the stronger you get. That also goes for -1 as well. Okay, so looking at these numbers, what's the closest to 0? Okay, and then what's the next closest number to 0? Okay, so then the next one would be what? We got 0, -0.4, and then we've got -0.43, and then we've got 0.79, and then we got 0.82. So notice how I'm not paying attention to whether it's positive or negative. I'm paying attention to how close to 0 is it, okay? If the correlation coefficient is 0.87, is this considered to be a strong positive, weak positive, strong negative? So this would be a positive number, and it's closer to 1. So this is going to be considered a strong positive. Yeah.
What if it's like above 1?
It's only going to go up to 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. All right, ready for the next one. The correlation coefficient is -0.03. Is it considered to be a strong positive, a weak positive, a strong negative, or a weak negative, or no correlation? Well, this is a negative. And then is it weak or is it strong? Is it closer to 0 or is it closer to 1?
0.
So it's going to be a weak negative. Okay.
Wait, 0.3 is close to 1.
0. That's close to 0.
Oh, negative.
Negative doesn't matter.
Also, it's like if it's closer to 0, then it's negative.
Okay. So if it has a positive number or a positive out front or a negative out front, that's whether it's positive or negative. If it's closer to 0, it's weak. If it's closer to 1 or -1, it's it's stronger.
1 or negative
1 or -1. All right. On the next one, describe the correlation between the hours worked at a job and the money earned. So as I work more hours, does my money go up or does it go down? It goes up. So this is considered a positive correlation. Okay, the correlation between age of students in the class and their height. Is it positive?
No, it's negative. There's nothing.
Okay, how many of y'all have stopped growing since 7th grade? How many of y'all have grown in the past year? Okay, so it's kind of hit or miss, right? We're gonna say no correlation. Because we have people who are, 50 years old and they're 3 feet tall. We've got people who are, 6 years old and they're 5 feet tall. So we got various things. Yeah. And a Honda Accord, which is a car, and its value over time. So as cars get older, do they increase in value or do they decrease in value? Well, if it's like a antique car, yeah. What? Strong positive. Okay. On number 6, that's going to be a negative correlation. So this is where you're going to see on your mastery check on tomorrow. This is what this goes over. Okay. So if it is closer to 1, it's going to be more of a straight line. Okay. So for instance, on C, we see that that's a straight line. So what is our highest number? 0.99, because that's closest to 1. Okay. Now, if it had no correlation, it's going to just be random dots. Random dots is going to be F, and that's going to be 0. So everybody see where I got that from? Okay. Now, here's the tricky part. It's like determining whether a 0.87 or 0.3 and that kind of stuff. So let's take a look. 0.3 and 0.87. They're both positive, so that means that they need to be going up. Okay. And we can see that A is going up as well as E is slightly going up. A little messy. So 0.87 is going to be this guy because it's creating that straight line. 0.33 is going to be E because it has a positive trend, but it's kind of all over the place. Okay, so negative 0.85 is going to be what, Christian?
Oh,
D. Okay, and then what is negative 0.4 going to be? Fantastic. Does everybody see where I got that from? Kind of talk through it. If it's positive, it's going to be increasing, right? So temperature and time for a cup of coffee left on the counter. So if I take my coffee, I set it on the counter. Is it going to get hotter or is it going to get colder? It's going to get colder. So as time is increasing, we're decreasing, right? So that's going to be a negative. Is that going to be strong or weakly? Oh, I'm sorry, weak correlated. Strong or weak correlated. So if I leave it on the counter, is it going to get cold? Could be, unless it's like cold brew, right? Okay. So it's probably going to be strong. Okay. Depending on the circumstances. Now, temperature and a time for a pot of cold water placed on a hot stove to boil. So when we put water on the stove, it's going to increase. So that's going to be positive. And is it going to be strong or weak? Strong. Okay. Math test scores?
no.
And height.
No problem.
No correlation. Doesn't matter if you're tall, short, or whatever, right? So no correlation. Amount of money in the bank and the number of days since the last paycheck.
No, done.
So I got paid and yeah. Okay, so it's going down, right? So it's going to be negative. It may be weak because I may be a really good saver one month, or the next month I might have, right, next month you're broke. Exactly. Okay. Okay, so you're going to hit the little plus sign. You're going to hit table, and we're going to type the top row on the left-hand side and the bottom row on the right-hand side. You hit the plus sign, and you hit table. Okay, so go ahead and start typing those in. Okay.
Shut up. I'm cracking.
Now what you're going to do is you're going to type Y1, and then you're going to hit shift and this little like squiggly like line. It's called a tilde. So it's above the tab.
Wait, oh, I see it.
Yep. So you hit shift and then that button that's above tab. And then you're going to type MX1 plus B. Okay. So they just gave us the equation right here. So all we have to do is now write it out. So this is going to be Y equals 4.36x minus 156.143. Now you can kind of round it to make it a little bit cleaner. But if you want to write the entire thing out, that's okay too. They asked us to predict the weight of a sand shark. So we're going to take 75 and we're going to plug it in for X. So we're going to take 75 and we're going to plug it in for X. So this is going to be 170.86. Your equation should have been Y equals 0.42x minus 19.81. Now, they tell us that if a man has a shoe size of 10.5, so that's giving us the Y value, what is his height? So if I say Y equals 0.42x minus 19.81, and I say y equals 10.5, where do they cross over? Okay, pull this up. We'll have a good zoom in. They would cross at 73.5. So we're putting this in least to greatest order. We're on problem 14. Okay. And we're going to list them out. So what's our lowest number? 3, then 9. And what's our next number? 21. What's the next number? What's the next number? Oh, yeah. What's the next one? And then 57, and then 65, and then 205. Now we want to find the mean, median, mode, range, Q1, Q3, max, min. Okay, we want to find everything about it. So in order to find the mean, remember, we're going to add these all up and divide by how many numbers there are. Can you take a second? Can you try that one? Great. So when you added all this up, what'd you get?
Wrong. The mean is 55.
Okay, let me be in your seat. So when we add these together,
One.
I got 495. Is that what you got? Okay. And then we divide it by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So what'd you get?
55.
I got 55. So my mean is 55. Did anybody get another mean for that? Okay. So let's go ahead and do the math. We're going to take this list of numbers and we're going to put them on the side. Okay, one. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take the mean and we're going to subtract these numbers. So we're going to say 3 minus 55. But we're going to ignore whether it's negative. Okay. So this will give me 52, then 15, 10, 46, 34, 4, 2, 11. You writing this down? Because this gets longer. Okay, cool. 150. I was like, wait, let me check. Okay, so all I've done was I found the deviation. So I took these numbers, which is from this list, and subtracted the mean. And this is the numbers that I got. I ignored the fact that there is a negative number. Okay. Now we're going to add up the deviation and we're going to divide by how many numbers there are. Okay. So we're going to add up all these numbers. And that gives me 324. And we're going to divide by 9. And so that's going to give me a MAD of 36. Okay. If another wide receiver had a MAD of 15, would this player be more consistent or less consistent? Okay.
More.
So if we are closer to the mean, that means that we're more consistent. So if we have a smaller MAD, then we're going to be more consistent. So the MAD of 15 is more consistent. So the bigger that the number is, the more errors that we're making. Okay. So now we're going to find the minimum and the maximum, the Q1, Q3, and the median. Okay. So you're filling in this table down here at the bottom, but we're using these numbers. My minimum is 3 because that's my lowest number. My maximum is 205 because that's my biggest number. And now we need to find the median. So we're going to cross off numbers on each side. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Say it again. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm missing a number. What number am I missing? Gotta be. Okay. When we find the median, we're going to cross off numbers on each side until we get into the middle. So we will have 2 numbers in the middle, okay, that we're going to add together and then divide by 2. Okay, so here it is again. So these 2 numbers are in the middle. We're going to add them together and then divide by 2. Nico, what'd you say the median was? Because you added these 2 together? Okay. So 44 plus 51 divided by 2, and we get 47.5. So the median is going to be 47.5. I'm missing a number. What's up? I'm crossing them off until I get to the middle, and then I'm going to add those numbers together and divide by 2. So 44 plus 51, and then divide it by 2. So I'm thinking I'm missing a number. Anybody else see it? So then it should be 44 then. Yeah, but see how there's 4 on this side and 4 on this side? Then the middle number would be 44. So our median should be 44. Say it again. You should have 4 on one side, 4 on the other, because there's 9 numbers in total. See what I'm saying? See it now, maybe? Make sure all your numbers are there. So that didn't work. Okay, so our median is 44. Okay, now here's how we have to calculate our Q1 and our Q3. Okay, ready? So we're going to look at the numbers that's below the median. And we're going to find the middle of those numbers. So we're going to take 9 plus 21, 9 plus 21, and we're going to divide it by 2. So that's going to give us what? 15. So that's Q1 equals 15. We're going to do the same thing for Q3. Q3, we're going to go into the middle. We're going to add them together and then divide by 2. So what's 57 plus 65 and then divide it by 2? What's 57 plus 65 and then divide by 2? 61. So Q3 is a 61. Now, to find the IQR, we're going to say Q3, which is 61, minus Q1, which is 15. So what does that give us? 46. Boom. How would I find the range for these numbers? This is just a random question. How would I find the range? Subtract the lowest and highest. So 205 minus 3 is going to give me 202. What about the mode? If a number repeats, are there any numbers that repeat? No, so we have no mode or none. If there was more than one that repeated and they had the same number of repeats, then we could say, oh, it's 4 and 5. Let's say like 44 repeated, and let's say 51 repeated, then that would be the mode is 44 and the mode is 51. You can have more than one mode. Okay.